everyone. Hope you're doing well. I'm pleased to be joined by Frankie, who is a Bayer Leverkusen season ticket holder and fan, obviously, to get his perspective of the game ahead of Thursday night. Frankie, it's not very often you can say you're having the perfect season, especially in April. However, I think you can. Is there anything that could have gone better for you as a Leverkusen fan?
No, I don't think there is, to be honest. I don't think anybody dreamed of this scenario back in July, August last year. It's been a bit of a whirlwind season and one that just keeps surprising everybody. I think a few weeks back, I think a lot of Leverkusen fans would have probably accepted getting knocked out of the Europa League, but we're here now, 16 points clear in the league with 6 games to go, and hopefully that's nearly done and dusted, and can start to focus our attentions on the Europa League, and then we've got the Cup final in Germany, the Pokal final to come in May. So yeah, it's been an incredible season, incredible effort by the whole squad and the management team.
Do you think you'll do it, the treble? Do you think you'll win all 3?
I think it'll be tough. I think we've got a chance. I mean, we are playing some brilliant football. I've watched Leverkusen for many years now, and we've played some good stuff at times, but we've always been inconsistent and a little bit defensively naive. But this season we've got the full mix of good experience, good young players, flair. We've had a few injuries, we've had African nations interrupt us, but we've managed to somehow keep the juggernaut going and still be unbeaten at this stage. So I think we've got a chance, but I think, playing against you guys will be tough. Obviously, Liverpool are still in there as well, so depending on how their intentions are with having the title race as well, it'll be tough. But yeah, we'll enjoy every second of it and see what happens.
Well, let's talk about your gaffer then. When he rocked up at Leverkusen, what did you think? Because essentially, you plucked him. Obviously, everybody's heard of him, but as a manager, I think if you're into Spanish football, I think it was maybe impressive what he did, getting promoted with Real Sociedad B, and obviously getting relegated as well. But it still felt like a bit of a gamble because we've seen over many, many years of top players not making it as a manager. But Xabi Alonso has definitely done that. So when you appointed him, what was your reaction to that manager?
I think a lot of fans like the idea of a younger manager, don't they? And a guy that he's clearly a very intelligent guy, speaks several languages. Obviously played for Bayern Munich over there as well. I think there was a lot of expectation and hope, but at that point when he took over, we were in the bottom 3 in the Bundesliga. Just having a miserable European campaign, and I think there was sort of more hope than expectation at that stage. But it's the dream scenario for any football fan, isn't it? When you get a younger guy who's, probably got a good experience as a player, good reputation. He had a big reputation as a coach when he came, even though he'd not really done anything like you say. So, at the time it was definitely hopeful, but I don't think anybody thought we'd be sat here where we are today. Probably 18 months after he took over. So.
And just the last couple of weeks, he's just announced he's going to remain at Leverkusen despite interest from Bayern Munich and Liverpool. Were you surprised that he's decided to stick with you, or was this expected from a fan of the club?
Yeah, a little bit of both probably. I think it's a good move. It's a clever move. I think he wants to then present his team in European football next year in the Champions League, and I think it's just taken time for Leverkusen fans to come to terms with what he's actually done this season and where we are as a club. Because, like I say, nobody expected it, and we can compete with the best teams in Europe, I think, right now. And it'll be really interesting to see how the summer goes in terms of player retention, what happens with people coming in. But I think he's in a good space to keep the players that we've got, hopefully, and progress the team even further. But yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy ride, but everyone's loving it, and the fact that he's here for another year is just another sort of momentum boost for the club, really.
Do you now feel like you're in a position where the club almost can't fail? Because as neutrals, we've always been reasonably impressed by the recruitment at Leverkusen. You always sold players for a hefty profit and reinvested relatively wisely. And now you've got Alonso in there. Now you're going to win the Bundesliga title. From a neutral's perspective, it feels a little bit like that this has been planned and it's sustainable, and actually next season you could retain the Bundesliga title and you could probably challenge for the Champions League title as well. Does it feel like you've now gone up a few levels under Alonso and you're there to stay?
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I say, it's happened really quickly. I think, obviously, last season when he took over, like I say, we were in the bottom three. He made a big impact in the second half of the season. It wasn't all rosy last year. We did have a couple of heavy defeats, and we lost 5-1 in Frankfurt not long after he took over. It took his time to sort of put the stamp on things, and I think the signings he made in the summer, particularly Granit Xhaka, for me, it was absolutely massive. He's just been a leader on and off the pitch and been sort of the linchpin of that team. And he's pretty much played every game this season. We've seen quite a lot of rotation and changes around the team, but Xhaka's been the one mainstay of that. And I've watched a lot of Premier League football. He's not the guy that played for Arsenal for so many years. He's a very mature, sensible player with his head screwed on, and he just makes that team tick. And that's been a massive change for us this season. And the team have just sort of knitted together as they've gone along. Players have come in and they all know the job in the formation that Xabi plays. And and I think we always sort of look at Bayern as underperforming, and I think they probably have in the last few weeks a little bit. But nobody's gone this level of games unbeaten against Bayern. We've set a new standard this season, and like you say, I think we've got potential to retain it next season. The one big thing this year has just been juggling these competitions. I think we would have been happy with a league title, irrelevant of what happened in the Cup or in Europe. But to be here now with all three still possible, it's something that no Leverkusen fan ever dreamed of. But if we can do it again next season, I think we're probably going to need to pad the squad out. There's a lot of good teams in the Champions League, and we'll need to be at our very best to compete with those guys. I think with the Europa League, we've probably had a few games this season where we were able to rotate. The standard of opposition probably wasn't as it would be in the Champions League, so we've kind of escaped a few near misses. But it's big hope for next season.
Do you think? I feel like I know the answer to this. I just want to ask you anyway. But Alonso hasn't really fielded his strongest 11 yet in European football. Quite often vesting 2 or 3 of his key players. Changing the keeper as well. Do you think you'll go full 11 for this game on Thursday night? I know you can win the Bundesliga title next weekend, but let's just say you've got a little bit of a buffer zone there with your lead over. You can afford to lose to Werder Bremen. Not that you do, but do you think he's going to go full strength for the first time in European football this Thursday?
Yeah, I would expect so. I think we need a buffer, by the way, in the league. You ask any Leverkusen fan, they're always nervous. I think until we mathematically get over the line, nothing's taken for granted in that respect. But I think he will. There's a few polls on Twitter asking about whether he'll rotate, whether he won't in the league and stuff, if we do get the job done. But I think right now he'll just see the opportunity. When we rotated a little bit at the weekend against Union Berlin, we sort of played a handful of what you'd call second string, but I think that's one of his successes this season, is that he's got a squad of players that he's used really effectively. We had Boniface's back from injury, came off the bench on the weekend again. Schick's been playing really well, but he got a rest on Saturday. So we mixed it around a bit, but I think he'll probably go in with what he sees his strongest 11. There's a couple of doubts still about fitness for people like Palacios, Boniface, so he may go probably Andrich and Xhaka in midfield with Schick up front, but I think he'll be taking it very seriously now. He'll see an opportunity here to create big history.
Before we talk about my team, for anybody that hasn't watched Leverkusen much this season, which players would you say to look out for? Who's in form at the minute for your side?
I think it's a team effort. It's a bit cliche, but this is a fully functioning team. Like I say, whether somebody misses out, somebody comes in, he's got his style of play. You've got your wing backs, which are generally Frimpong and Grimaldo. They've been unbelievable this season, and they play more like wingers. We play our back three with Xhaka pretty much sat in front, or Andrich sat in front, or Palacios. Those wingers will be bombing forward. And then you've got kind of a steady midfield, but then you've got like the magic of Florian Wirtz. Wirtz is starting to come to the fore for Germany now, it seems, as well. I think he'll probably start in the Euros, and he's just going on to fulfil the potential that everybody thought he could have. Just a really clever player, and he works so hard as well in winning the ball back, and he's been fantastic this season. To have him fit for most of the season and really ticking things over. He creates a lot of chances. He's just always on the ball, always uses it wisely. And then like I say, we've got options up front in terms of Schick and Boniface. Boniface has not started yet since he got injured back in January, so Might be a bit of a risk to throw him in, but I think he'll probably start either here or against Dortmund on Sunday and probably play 60, 65 minutes. But I think the team effort, but probably Frimpong and Grimaldo are the two to keep an eye on.
Right, from your team to my team, what's your thoughts on West Ham?
I think you guys have had a good season, yeah. And I'm sort of always interested in the perspective of West Ham fans because I always feel like obviously you had a good season last season in European success, and I always feel like Moyes is a few games away from getting some grief from the fans, and probably the style of play is not quite what you guys want. But yeah, I've been impressed with them this season. They have been a little bit up and down recently, but some good attacking football. Obviously, Bowen's had another really good season. Kudus looks really good. And they look pretty solid. I think Alvarez in midfield's done really well. So yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with West Ham. I think they're always better than the sum of the parts. They play as a team quite well. I wouldn't say you've got outstanding individuals, but as a team, I think Ward-Prowse was a good signing. Seems to have knitted that midfield together. Obviously, losing Rice. But yeah, I mean, West Ham are always solid in my eyes. I know you do concede goals, but I think they're a hard team to beat, and you have to play well to compete against them.
When the draw was made for the quarterfinals, what was your reaction to getting West Ham?
Pleased, yeah. I mean, it's an easy one for me to get to. I can jump on the train after work and get down to the London Stadium. Yeah, I think it'll be a tight game over two ties. I think we'll probably need to win the first leg. I think it'll be tough going to your place, but I think wherever we play this season, we kind of fancy our chances to go and beat teams, and we've been really good in possession and out of possession as well. We can counter attack quickly, and like I say, we can sort of pin teams back and break them down, even if they come and defend with 11 men. But I think it'll be an entertaining game. I think there should be a few goals over the two legs, and definitely not one that Leverkusen will take for granted.
Before we turn our attention to the game itself, I want to ask you about Tim Steidten, obviously quite influential at Leverkusen, now at West Ham, and not allowed to be influential yet. But what's your thoughts on him, just as a Leverkusen fan, and sort of him coming to West Ham? What would you expect of him?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think the lure of the Premier League is always there, whether you're a coach or a player or whatever. It's I think the money in the Premier League is a lot more than it is in Germany. So again, another reason why I was partly surprised that Xabi Alonso stayed and showed his dedication to the club. I'm sure he could go to Liverpool or Madrid or somewhere that he could earn a hell of a lot more money, but it's about the future progression. But West Ham's a good club, and they seem pretty well organised as a club. And yeah, to get that exposure in the Premier League, I guess, is probably what everybody wants. Even some of our best players now, we still may lose them in the summer. People like Frimpong, that lure of the best league in the world is always there. So something that we have to be aware of. We're still not Bayern Munich in terms of financial clout. Last season we lost Moussa Diaby, our best player, but we invested that money wisely and did the right thing. So yeah, it's always going to be there. I think the Premier League is always going to be the sort of pinnacle for people.
And right, turn your attention to Thursday night then. How do you see this game going?
I think it'll be tight. I think I think we'll try and boss the game, but we've not looked watertight at the back in recent weeks. So I think it wouldn't surprise me if West Ham can score, but I'd maybe go for a 2-1 home win just to sort of set it up nicely for the second leg. I think it'll be an entertaining two legs, I think.
How confident are you that you will be the side that's in the semi-finals?
Reasonably. Again, Leverkusen fans don't get carried away with expectation. It's something that's very new to us this season. Going into games expecting to win every week. But yeah, I think the fact that we're nearly there in the league probably helps us. Definitely. I mean, I think when the draw was made, I was probably more sceptical. But thinking if we had a sort of an 8 to 10 point lead right now and going away to Dortmund this weekend, things might be getting a little bit tight. But obviously, with what happened at the weekend, that was a big plus for us. So hopefully we are nearly there and can focus on this now. So I'm more confident than I was when the draw was made.
Well, Frankie, usually I'd say enjoy it, but I don't mean it. I'd be lying. But I do, however, hope you enjoy Sunday, and I hope you get your win against Werder Bremen and you can lift the Bundesliga title, and I hope you have a massive party players involved, and there's a hangover at the London Stadium next Thursday. But listen, thank you very much for popping on. Really appreciate it. Really nice to hear the Leverkusen perspective of things. If you guys at home have enjoyed it, please do drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up, subscribing to Hammer's Chat. You can catch up with myself and Frankie next week, where we'll be discussing the first leg, whatever happens on Thursday, and taking a look ahead to the second leg at the London Stadium. We'll catch you then.